after talks to give them a greater say in the government broke down. The resignations mean one of the three main religious communities is no longer represented in government decision-making. Hezbollah, the Christian leader Michel Aoun and President Lahoud have all said now that the cabinet is unconstitutional and all its decisions this week illegitimate. One of those decisions was approving an international tribunal on the killing of Rafik al-Hariri, the former Prime Minister. Mr. Nasrallah made the comments on Hezbollah's television station, Al-Manar. Let's talk now to Ibrahim Moussawi, who is the editor of Al-Manar. He talked, Hassan Nasrallah, about people being psychologically prepared for demonstrations. Would that suggest that they're expecting confrontation?
No, not necessarily, actually. They are warning. Sayyid Nasrallah was warning, actually, of any confrontation in the street. He was preparing them to be all the time civilized, not to make any damage to the properties or wherever. He wants to see a kind of civilized protest, a kind of civilized demonstration that would bring the materialization of the goals of Hezbollah and the opposition without inflicting any damage of any sort or kind to the properties and to any people in the street.
Why would you need to be psyched up, in other words, psychologically prepared for a peaceful demonstration?
Well, I mean, you're talking about the country. What Hezbollah is seeking, what the opposition is seeking, is a kind of resolution to resolve this crisis. They have asked for national unity government, something that was refused by the current government. That's why they're calling for a kind of peaceful thing. After all, this is the country of all of the Lebanese that should not be put into any risk or jeopardy.
Hezbollah was offered, we now understand, a third of the seats in the cabinet and declined. Why was that?
It's not that Hezbollah declined or refused or rejected the offer, actually. There has been a kind of bargaining. They wanted to give them this in a condition that Hezbollah would accept the international tribunal. This is something that was misleading the people. Hezbollah was not against the international tribunal from the very beginning. Hezbollah, Amal and all of the opposition, they have authorized and they said they are yes for the international tribunal, providing that we have the time to be able to study all of the mandate and the different articles and items of this tribunal. That would not, for example, jeopardize the sovereignty of Lebanon or extend the mandate of this tribunal to things that is not a place of agreement among the Lebanese. What happened is that they gave the draft only one night before the authorization, before the cabinet meeting, which was not acceptable in any way.
But it was a win-win situation in many ways for Hezbollah, wasn't it? You know, keep your seats in the cabinet and in fact have a third of them as long as you agree to this and then fight it from the inside.
Well, I mean, this is something that is left to the wisdom of the leadership. They saw that is not what they wanted. Actually, it's not Hezbollah that wants more ministers there. They wanted to kind of representation for all of the political groups in Lebanon, like, for example, General Aoun. Actually, Sayyid Nasrallah, he said in his speech, I mean, as you all hear, that he's ready even to give the seats of Hezbollah ministers for other political groups in Lebanon, providing this would give a kind of immunity or guarantee for the quote-unquote greater causes for Lebanon, to give immunity and guarantee that Lebanon is not going to deviate from the true track of the Arab struggle against the Israelis, not to be under the American custodianship or mandate, for example.
Hassan Nasrallah appears to be preparing Lebanon for street demonstrations, some kind of civil protest, which may or may not be confrontational. What could rein him back from that? What could make him say we don't need to do this now?
Well, actually, it has been, he opened the doors, I mean, very wide for the government now to go into a national unity government or early elections if they are very sure that they are the majority. So what would prevent them from going into early elections, and they can take whatever they want? I believe this is the last chance given by Sayyid Nasrallah, and maybe tomorrow, maybe after tomorrow, maybe in a few hours, we will hear about people going to the streets to demonstrate in a civil and democratic ways again to bring down this government.
Thank you, Ibrahim Moussawi. Thank you very much indeed, the editor of Al-Manar, talking to us from Beirut. Syria's foreign minister is due to arrive in Iraq for talks on joint security. It's Syria's first official visit since the US-led invasion in 2003. Well, the violence is continuing in Baghdad. 11 people were killed when a roadside bomb and 2 car bombs exploded one after another near a bus station. 50 people were injured in the attack. Other violence across Iraq brought the death toll to 52 so far on Sunday. In Basra, 200 men have been arrested by Iraqi police in raids across the city. The arrests were part of the hunt across southern Iraq for 4 Americans and an Austrian who were kidnapped last week. Well, let's take a closer look now at one of the groups fighting in Iraq. It's called the Islamic Army. It's been responsible for kidnappings and attacks on American troops. It's a Sunni organization, and the stated aim of it is to drive out all foreign influence from Iraq, be it from Iran or from the United States. Well, Al-Jazeera has obtained pictures of the group in training. Our Iraq correspondent Hoda Abdul Hamid has our exclusive report.
Some call them insurgents or terrorists. They describe themselves as a national resistance movement. Born out of occupation, the soldiers of the Islamic Army pride themselves on being Iraqi. None of their fighters, they say, are foreigners. Their aim, to expel any foreign influence from Iraq.
العراق كما تعلمون يخضع لاحتلالين.
There are 2 occupations in Iraq. Iran on one side, through the militias which they control, and through direct involvement with the National Guard and the intelligence services that causes the killing and destruction of the Sunnis. And then there is the American occupation which destroys the Iraqi people.
The world came to know them through grisly videos of kidnappings and attacks on foreign and Iraqi troops. A powerful intimidation tool that led many companies to evacuate, reconstruction to stop, and some nations to pull out their troops. 3 years on, the fighters are waging a relentless campaign against the most powerful army in the world. Around Baghdad, but mainly in Al-Anbar, the one area coalition forces are still not able to control despite several massive military operations. These fighters say they are protecting Iraqis from the brutality of a foreign occupation.
The occupation is hiding thousands of crimes. When they leave, the world will see the full picture.
The chaos in Iraq has meant there is no shortage of fighters. In these pictures obtained by Al-Jazeera, new recruits are training in the art of war among the palm groves on the outskirts of Baghdad. Ambushes, kidnappings with the help of local residents, tactical instructions to hit enemy helicopters, rescue operations, and heavy artillery assaults. A 2-week intensive course in guerrilla warfare, and in the end, a graduation ceremony as a new class of fighters is ready to pick up arms. Hoda Abdul Hamid, Al Jazeera.
And as if to underline the dangerous situation in Iraq, Reuters news agency is currently reporting that the Deputy Health Minister of Iraq has been kidnapped from his home by camouflaged gunmen. That's according to an aide and to neighbours. Well, still to come on Al Jazeera, why tourists are staying away from Zimbabwe. Al Jazeera will be reporting live from Victoria Falls. And a historic day for Mauritania in West Africa. People go to the polls for the first election since a military coup in 2005. Join me for